A lone hiker walking on the Northwood Ridge Trail, early morning. Clear sky, peaceful forest, long trail stretching ahead. Realistic photography style, natural lighting, serene atmosphere with subtle foreshadowing. Dark storm clouds forming quickly over a dense forest trail. Windless trees, heavy atmosphere, distant thunder. The hiker looking up with concern. Cinematic realism, darkening sky, incoming danger. A wooden backcountry emergency shelter standing alone in the forest as rain begins to fall. The hiker approaching it, backpack soaked, moody, photorealistic, wet environment, tension building. Inside the small wooden shelter, a hooded man sitting perfectly still, facing the wall. The hiker enters, water dripping from clothes. Dim light, deep shadows, tense silence. Realistic and unsettling atmosphere. Close-up of the hooded man from behind or side angle, face hidden. His posture stiff and unnatural, hands motionless on his knees. Shelter walls dark and weathered. Realistic, eerie, psychological horror tone. The hiker noticing that the hooded man's clothes and shoes are completely dry while the storm rages outside. Strong contrast between soaked hiker and perfectly dry stranger. High detail, dramatic tension. Hiker stepping out of the shelter in heavy rain while a dark silhouette sits silently behind him. Inside, lightning flashes, briefly illuminating the figure. Cinematic, tense moment of escape. Hiker turning around to look into the shelter. The inside is completely empty. No man, no footprints, no sign anyone was ever there. Only heavy rain pouring round the structure. Dark, wet, hyper-realistic horror. A dense, stormy forest shot with the trail disappearing into darkness. A faint human-like silhouette barely visible deep between the trees. Photorealistic, eerie, lingering horror mood.
I had hiked countless trails before, but the locals warned me never to enter Old Briar Path. They said the trail moves on its own. A few minutes in, the forest grew strangely dark, unnaturally quiet. When I turned around, my footprints on the trail were gone. That's when I heard it, a whisper behind me, not wind, not an animal, a voice, trying to say my name. The trees twisted in ways trees shouldn't twist, and one of them looked like it had a face pressed into the bark. After hours of walking, I finally saw a clearing, but instead of an exit, I found my own campsite waiting for me. Exactly how I left it that morning. Hundreds of footprints circled the campsite, all of them mine, as if I'd been walking in circles for days without knowing. The whispers grew louder, telling me to stay. I ran until I burst onto the road. A truck stopped just in time. The driver stared at me like I'd been missing for a week.
Ethan loved unexplored trails. So when he heard about Raven Ridge Path, he decided to hike it alone at sunrise. But the moment he stepped in, the forest felt wrong. Too quiet, like everything was holding its breath. 10 minutes later, he checked his GPS, and it showed something impossible. No location found. As he walked deeper, the same landmarks kept repeating, the same rock, the same fallen tree. Like the forest was looping. Then he froze. A second version of himself stood between the trees, staring at him with wide, unmoving eyes. The double slowly smiled. A stretched, unnatural grin, like something wearing his skin, was learning how to act human. Ethan ran as the forest twisted around him, shadows pulling at his clothes, whispers chasing him through the dark. He burst onto a main road and collapsed. A passing hiker rushed over, asking where he came from. Ethan pointed back, but the trail was gone, only solid trees, and from deep inside, he heard his own voice whisper, "You should have stayed."